Hello, everybody, and welcome to Talk a Good Game, where it is the Europa Conference League quarterfinals. It's West Ham versus K.A.A. Gent. I'm not Gio. He is out and about. Gonzo, do you know where Gio is? Do you know where he is?
Yes. He's having a very nice time at the moment. I've got to say, he's gone to a Jackanory reunion. But it's not just Jackanory. It was all the old CBBC stuff, all the old he's got his Rainbow there. Of course, there's Jackanory. I've forgotten the two Sooty and Sweep show. He loves a bit of that. So he's gone. He's taken all these books there. Hopefully he's getting a couple of signings. Emu's going to sign one of his books of his beak and stuff like that. So yeah, good luck to him, really. Play school's going to be there. He's very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, he seemed very excited when I spoke to him. So unfortunately, you're stuck with myself. But at least Gonzo here is the usual. And we'd like to start, as we always do, by asking you your opinions on K.A.A. Gent.
Gent. Well, I'll tell you what Gent aren't is Genk. Because Genk are top of the league in Belgium, and Gent are fourth. However, they are in a very good run of form, by the way. I've got to be honest here. I've had a look at their players. I don't really recognise anybody there at all. However, they have done really well. I think they actually put 4 goals in the second leg, put 4 goals past Istanbul. So anybody who thinks they're going to roll over and have their tummy tickled for this game, think again. But a lot of these Belgian sides are all very technical, Charlie. And I would expect... I don't expect to be able to go out there, put our youth team out and turn them over. That being said, it's about as good a matchup as we could hope for in a sort of European quarterfinal, albeit the lesser of all the competitions. So I know you know a little bit about them, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I spoke to Jack and K.A.A. last night from Analytics United, who also do Hamalytics on patreon.com/HamChat, link in the description below. And they're doing a podcast about it. I think it goes out today, and I've heard it and listened to it. So anything I say from here on out that sounds vaguely intelligent, that's them. That's them. It's in my mind. That's what it is. But yeah, obviously, like you say, it was a tie that I was relatively happy with when we got it. I think there were worse ties we could have had. From a thumbnail standpoint, I hate the fact it happened because I've got those two logos confused several times. And also, I don't know if you've seen this. Their logo, right? It has the face, but the face is a PNG and the background goes through the middle, and so I have to create like a white background behind the logo. It's a lot of effort from my standpoint that I don't need to go through.
Is it? But their logos it's basically a Comanche, like a Red Indian, isn't it?
Yes.
Are we allowed to say that?
I think it's Native American, but I'm not entirely certain. I can't.
Well, I'll go back. It's Navajo. I'll go do better than that. It's Navajo.
There you go. I cannot profess to know anywhere near to the knowledge. I probably
Navajo know what I'm talking about. No.
But yes, shout out 50 Cent. But there's a whole like through the mid. It's a pain in the backside. But
50 Gent.
50. solid one. But yeah, they are a decent side, but you have to be to get to this stage of the competition. Sure. I think we always look at this competition and go, oh, we should be able to beat this relatively easily. The conversation at the moment is, can we survive and win Europa Conference League, which should be the goal, don't get me wrong, but we tend to overlook teams that have earned their way to this position, and Gent are very much one of those sides. They play, if you're talking about sort of in general sort of senses, here's where the alarm bells ring, where it seems like I don't know what I'm talking about, and it probably does. They play a brand of football that's semi-similar to ours, except they know how to press, which should ring alarm bells for me, because whenever I have said we've gone up against teams that are similar to us, we do not know how to break these teams down, and that's exactly what they do. They force people out wide, they get them to cross it in, they've got big centre-backs who can head it away, exactly like we do, except that bit where we don't know what to do when they have the ball, they know how to press and they know how to move these things around, and that's a little bit worrying. So if I were to ask you about specific players, then do you have anyone? There's one big name that most people is on the forefront of their mind when it comes to Gent this season. So do you?
Well, I know their manager's called Hein van Hesselbroek, which I think is an excellent name.
One more time.
Hein van Hesselbroek.
Okay. Better, braver you than I would never have tried it, but I love to see it.
Well, they've many players. They've got someone called Sven Comes.
Okay. Really?
Apparently he does. Oh dear, sorry. We got Malik Fofana, who's the lesser known of the Fofana triplets. Kamil Piatowski, who's very good. They've got they do have. Oh no, they haven't. Yes, Gift Orban. Actually, he is meant to be quite good. Let's have a little sneaky.
He's the one.
Yeah,
he's the one. I mean, they've got other names you might recognize. Coop Miners, I believe, not Coop Miners. How do you play it? Coopers. I can never pronounce it properly. Hugo, the other striker who's upside with Gift Orban. He's probably good. I've never known how to pronounce this guy's name, but he used to play for Norwich, so you might recognize him. Odia Jafafo. I've never been able to pronounce his name. He didn't play very.
Are you sure you can't pronounce it?
Yeah. He came in a whirlwind, went out in a whirlwind. Didn't really go very well for them there. And then they have Haug, who played for Frankfurt last year, who we faced obviously, and he came up against them. But Gift Orban is the big one.
Yes,
he's the guy who everyone's talking about. He joined in January. He's got 14 goals in 10 games so far this season. Just since joining them in January, firing just an insane amount of goals in.
Good growth potential on FIFA as well.
Oh, there you go. Also, it's called Gift.
Yes.
You could partner him up front with what's the guy who plays for Watford or played for Isaac Success?
Yeah, the Gift of Success.
Beautiful partnership name-wise there would be good. But if you're looking for people to watch out for, he is very much the guy right now.
Yes. But
he's
incredible. You wouldn't put him with Sven Kums, would you? For instance.
Well, a little gift to come. Who knows?
Absolutely.
Who knows? It is what it is. But yeah, like I said, I can't profess to have watched them much. I just know what I've been told, and also what you hear about basically, and who's doing bits. In terms of West Ham and the team news, that's the word I was looking for. Skamaka is still missing. Paqueta is probably going to be a late fitness check, and Flynn Downs returns after suspension in Europe, so he is back once more. Where are we at in this game in terms of priority levels? Because obviously, we're in a slightly better position now than we were in terms of the relegation battle. We've just come off the back of a soul crushing win, which I don't know if is an oxymoron I've ever said before, but
stick with that. Yeah,
it was sort of how it felt. Does that give you any more license in this game to feel a little bit more confident to go for it? Where are you at?
I think I'm struggling when I look at the running.
Sure.
To find the 2 wins. But there's certainly that they can be there, and it'd be good to get them early. That being said, this is the gift, actually, this tie.
Orban, he's playing for them, yeah.
It is, because this allows us to not play our first team. Had that being said, I don't know what our first team is. David Moyes doesn't know his first team is. He's just changed it. He's just changed tack completely. However, we can use our squad in this one. And if we play well, then we get through. I don't think we just turn up and win. That's not what I'm saying. I think we turn up and play badly, they win. But we can pick squad players, and hopefully, the team that I've picked here, they can win this game. And that's what it allows us to do. And I think that's where we're at. I think the big question for West Ham is, well, this has brought us a little bit of breathing space and brought us sort of three Premier League fixtures worth of breathing space. We've already notched up 1 win during that. Can this tie give us enough breathing space in the next couple of games to get some more surprise points? I'm not saying Fulham are surprise points. Whereby then by the time we get to the next round, if we do the semi-final, then we can start using more of our sort of first teamers in this game. I think that's really where we're at with it, Charlie, to answer your question, because the priority still, it has to be the Premier League at the moment. I'm sorry to say that. I really am. I would not want to be in that position. And I'll tell you now, if we were comfortably mid-table and we had it already sewn up by now, or whatever, we were in Crystal Palace's, I know there's not a lot in it, but 3 points more or something like that, I could say we could really go for this now. I do think it's going to be tough to do that, so I think we've got to use a few of our reserves. I think we've got to try and get through, stay in the tie, and just get through to the semi-final, and then hopefully we've got another 6 points by then we can really focus on it.
I think thankfully, when I look at it and I look at the sort of balance between the Premier League and this, the reserves, if you want to call it that way, are still very capable.
Yes.
And I think we're looking at a side where I think against Fulham, we saw a blueprint of potentially depressingly how we might play for a lot of the games that are going to be coming up. Back to old school West Ham, David Moyes tactics. And it felt that way. Watching that game, watching it on the watch along, that's how it felt. I remember saying almost the exact same words I said 2 years ago about that side. And it felt very, very similar, except for the fact, you know, we're all much older, including the players on the pitch. And Jesus Christ, did it show a little bit with people like me. Right?
Yeah.
But I think that's a blueprint. The other thing about that blueprint, though, when you look at that side, is that means there is a lot of players who I think people would prefer to see starting every single game in the Premier League, who probably can't or won't because they don't fit into that team or whatever, who can very easily get a game here. And it still leaves us with a very competitive team. Like I say, I don't think we should underplay Gent, but I do think that actually, if you look at the sort of the way I've got a mixture. We'll go through our lineups in a sec, but I've got a mixture of people who I would suspect to start in the next Premier League game and people who I would suspect not to start.
Sure.
And I'm looking at it, that's still pretty flipping strong. So let's go for it. What's your lineup? How do you want to do it? Do you want to just run through your 11?
I'll run through my 11, mate. Areola in goal. I've got Johnson at right back. K.A.A. and Agurd in central defence. Agurd needs the games, and if, as I suspect, David Moyes is going to go with Ogbonna and Zuma, they both can be easily broken. So let's just rest them. Don't play them at all. Hence the reason for K.A.A. and Agurd there. I'm going to play Emerson at left back, only because I just think he's going to play Cresswell at left back against Arsenal. That's just what I think he'll do. So it gives him there. Downs, Lanzini, Fornals as a central three.
Okay.
Downs can sit. The other two can do what they want. As long as they stay central, they can dovetail and whatever to say. It's dovetail, isn't it? I think
it's going to dovetail. Say it with confidence, you know, and then no one will question you.
Whatever
they'll spoon. They're going to spoon.
Top and tail. Whatever they're going to do, they can sort of swap around in there and take turns at attacking. And then I'll go with a front three of Benrahma, who I play on the right. I'd play Cornet on the left, and I'd play Mubama up front. Actually,
nice.
I'll tell you my reasoning. I'll tell you it now.
Lob it in.
Number one, he deserves it. Although, and anyone else, I wanted to protect the youth team from David Moyes, ideally, but he's already had to. He would have already been infected, wouldn't he, this season? So, because he's trained with him and he's played under him already. So, I think there's probably, and he's obviously quite a resilient lad. So it's not knocked the spring out of his step because he scored a hat trick. So he's trained with the first team. So, and also, you know, you could argue, you know, when he plays those under 18s, he's a more senior player than those under 18s. So I think that's fine. I want to just leave them away from the manager. But he can come in. I don't trust Danny Ings to play up front on his own in a David Moyes system. And I don't trust him. He's just the wrong player for us. And I think if we are going to get anything against Arsenal, I understand we probably won't, but let's just hope we do. Then I would rather not rinse Antonio for this game, to be perfectly honest with you, mate. So, for that reason, I'll go for Mubama up front.
Yeah, I was torn with Antonio and Mubama because, like you say, if Scamacca's not fit, frankly, putting Danny Ings there is a pointless endeavour because I've also gone with a 4-3-3, and then that really leaves you with just those two. My lineup, I've gone with Areola, Johnson. I have said Zuma, but alongside Agurd and Emerson, so almost the same. But I just want to see us. Frankly, I just don't trust Tilo Kehrer. It's basically the way it boils down to. If we're playing a back four, I just don't want to see him in it. Despite that lovely assist he got. Oh my God, it was good, wasn't it? Sorry, I'm still not over the fact he just whipped in a ball that I didn't know he was capable of doing. That's what I'm done here. But yeah, in terms of just who I trust most in the back four, that was what it would be. Midfield three of Downs, Rice, and Paqueta. I feel like I want to get a win in this game. I really do. I think it can, and it can let us be a bit calmer going into the Premier League fixtures. It keeps a good run of form going, and it means that when they come back to our place, we can set up essentially like we did against Fulham and go on then, break us down. It's not going to happen. See you later. We're through to the next round. It's not going to happen. If we can get a win here, it's a massive statement forward, and it's a big step forward. So I want to see Rice in there just because I think him playing in midfield is the best chance of that happening.
Sure.
Downs essentially instead of Souček, just because why not? It's a bit of rotation. It happens. Also, I'm fairly certain Souček's going to play against Arsenal. So, you know, not that Souček ever needs rest. The guy is one of the few people who seems to be fit at all times, but you know what I mean? And then Paqueta, if he is fit, get him back in, get him playing, get him up to speed. Because again, he does not fit in that 4-4-2 we were playing either. And then our front three of Bowen, Antonio, and Benrahma. Again, I want that win, and it's difficult.
You've gone for it. You've gone strong.
It's difficult. I don't know.
Charlie's throwing the Arsenal game.
The Arsenal game's thrown already.
Yeah, I know.
The Arsenal game's thrown already to some extent. But I just look at it and I think because Cornet, I want to see start in the Arsenal game, and I don't know how fit he is. I would happily see him come on as a sub, but I don't know where his sort of fitness levels are at. So I don't want to see him start this game as well, and I want to see him start against Arsenal. And in that stage, you're running out of options. So Bowen kind of has to play it, and then I'm starting 4 nails against Arsenal, so Benrahma starts here basically. So it sort of picks itself, but it's one of those things where I think both of our lineups are relatively strong still. Like you can maybe pick 1 or 2 players from each one. You might be saying, "Oh, I might be being a little naive, putting say Declan Rice in there as a risk we don't need to take," or you know, you could go, "Oh, well, Mbeumo's not up to it." Those are lineups that are strong. Like they aren't bad teams at all. Which leads me to ask, are you confident?
Well, as much as I can be, but I don't know the team. But you know, that being said, they won 5-0 away from home a game before last, so they've got a bit of swashbuckle to them. I think the last.
To be fair, I saw the highlights from that.
Did you? Okay.
I watched them earlier on today. Just because again, you just sort of want to. One of the honestly, it was like us versus Newcastle. It was just watching it was like not in a unreal sense, more in a just. What would the defenders do? One of the goals, the guy flicks it at the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper seems to be in a good position to just catch it in his chest. It bounces off his chest and dribbles into the net, and he just sort of looks at it. And I was like, sorry, have you played in goal before? What's going on here? How has this happened? Like, I don't know. I don't know how to read into it, but they are. I mean, look, this the ball game you referenced before, right? They scored 4 in that game, so they do have a bit of swashbuckle to them.
Yeah, they can definitely score goals. There's no doubt about that at all. He's just looking at the table now. Yeah, I mean they're up there. They're the joint. Well, they're third highest goal scorers in the league. It's no surprise that they're 4th in the league, aren't they? But they're good. They got good goal difference. They've got some big wins behind this season. And let's be fair, they're above big teams like Bruges, Anderlecht, and the other Bruges. You know, they're one Bruges is definitely better than the other. One Bruges is more superior to the other Bruges. Club Bruges is more superior to, I guess, not Club Bruges. Anyway.
Formerly Scott Parker's Club Bruges, of course.
Which Bruges? The small Bruges?
Nah, Club Bruges. He was managing
Club Bruges.
He managed them this season, didn't he, for about 5 games before getting fired, wasn't it?
I mean, it's a good team. Standard Liège they got there, which are not as good as excellent Liège. They're the best Liège, aren't they, Charlie? We can't beat them, really. Surprised they're not winning the league. Anyway, so it's as confident as I can be. But we've played well in Europe this season. We really have. We've been really good. I do think it's important that, you know, there's not a lot to give David Moyes credit for this season. I think the one thing he has done is negotiated Europe really, really well.
Yes.
Yes. And funny enough, Gio said to me at the very start of the season, he said to me, I wonder if our tactics might suit Europe really well. Because when it was clear, at the start of the season, things weren't quite right. And Gio said to me, I do wonder if we'll be back, we'll be poor in the Premier League. But our tactics may well suit. I said to Gio after the second game of the season, I said, do you think we'll get relegated? We actually had that conversation. Anyway, but yeah, he said, funny enough, I think our tactics will suit Europe, and I think he's right, you know, and I think, and so it's proven. So, yeah, I think I am quite confident actually of getting through in this tie, which would be amazing to get through to a semi-final. I just want to, the thing is, Charlie, I just want to be allowed to enjoy it. If that does happen, I don't want this dark cloud to be hanging over it, because this gets thrown out there in 2 ways. Moyes throws it out there an awful lot, which is, well, I think if we stay in the Premier League and we and he doesn't say win. He says, but reached. His language really interesting. But reached a final, reach a European final.
Yeah,
people look back and say, "Oh, it's a good season," and I see a lot of that as well. I've seen arguments, people saying that. Well, do you think it'll be a good season if we stay up? That's it. People want a one-word. It's like a TikTok thing, isn't it? You know, we don't need it. We've been talking 20 minutes. I don't need to give you an answer in 30 seconds. Do you know what I mean? But if you want a one-word answer, has it been a season? Well, I'm not going to give you one. But it's what I want, because what it doesn't do is it doesn't tell the true story of well, actually, they're not both the same. Because if we stay up by the seat of our pants on the last game of the season, not really been able to enjoy the quarterfinals or the semi-final and that sort of thing. So I'd really love to. I understand at the moment it's going to be difficult. I'd just love to be able to enjoy it. If we got to a semi-final, which I hope we do, to be able to enjoy the semi-final, enjoy the final without thinking that the club is going to face ruin. That would be really good, because I do think it's an important factor when you're assessing this binary choice that's got to be made. You know, good season or bad season. No, there's more discussion to be had on it, and I think a big part of that is being able to have that relief for the end of the season, that we can enjoy ourselves.
No nuance. Confident season good. Yes.
I don't know why I turned German.
You know, why not? Why not? They get their acts together most of the time. I think, like you say, I want to be able to enjoy it, and I think, to be fair, I will regardless. I had this thought a couple of days ago. I had this like sort of woke up in the middle of the night sweating kind of vibe, where I thought to myself, what if we get to the final and we play how we did against Fulham and then we lose? Like, how will that feel? And I imagine it will be quite negative. Like, I imagine the vibe would be not great for me or anyone else. But I think what I've come to realize over the last couple of days, just thinking about it, and if people have watched the watch-alongs, they'll know I say this all the time. I've adored being in Europe the last 2 years, and I've enjoyed basically every moment of it. And not even because we've been great, although we have. And like you say, I think if there's one thing I think David Moyes can come away with this season with a little bit of credit for, to be fair, is that he has managed Europe basically perfectly both times in a row. He flopped a little bit against Frankfurt, obviously, but outside of that, I mean, it's been basically a masterclass in that. I can't not enjoy it. I can't not enjoy it. And I think as long as we're still in it, I'm here for it. And hey, listen, if we set up like we did against Fulham, then it is what it is. But the fact that I'm getting to watch West Ham is something as someone my age, has never been able to really say, apart from, you know, when we faced Palermo in the qualifying stages at one time and with Tevez, and they absolutely banters us out, and then Astrojeju times. Apart from that, actually competing in Europe as opposed to playing some teams who are European and getting beaten, I can't. It's something I get excited for every single time, and it does sort of leave me a little bit more confident than maybe I should. Everything I've heard about Gent and the way they play and the players they have, it should concern me, and it does concern me. And you know, listening to that Analytics United podcast when they're talking about it did concern me. You know, that play like us, that's an alarm bell for me. They have runners from deep from midfield like Frankfurt did, which we didn't know how to deal with at the time. Then we might not have to do that. That's ringing alarm bells. They've got some guy who's come in January and literally cannot not score. He just keeps putting the ball into the net. That's ringing alarm bells. But I just
and they got Sven Comes as well,
and never a good time.
He always turns up.
Everything exactly. Everything should concern me about it. But I do have this just underwhelming, just underlying, maybe just little sense of confidence in the background, little background radiation hum of confidence that I can't shake. And will eventually probably kill me like the background radiation.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
So score prediction wise, I'm gonna say, I'll say 2-1. I think they will score. I can't see Orban not scoring, but I'm gonna back us to get 2 from somewhere. Don't know where. I'm just gonna blindly say it and then we vibe. Final words and score prediction.
That is one of the nastiest cereals, all brand, I think, by the way. And there's not a lot you can do to that. It's just, that's getting stuck in your teeth.
I'm gonna say
that's soaking up all the milk. It's so much how much sugar you can put on the all brand. It's not a gift. All brand's not a gift, is it? Let's be fair.
Fair. Controversial opinion. I've got really into bran flakes.
That's different.
I know. I'm just saying. I thought they were going to be the most boring thing in the world. Specifically, the Kellogg's ones are good. You know.
You put sugar on them, though, didn't you?
No, I just
milk. I'm natural.
Mate, it's crazy talk. It's crazy talk. You want to get real wild? You get some dried bananas, crush them, put them on top. You know what I mean?
I tell you what. Old gift all brand there. I would challenge anyone. I'm not paying. There's no money, by the way, in this challenge. To eat half a box of all brand without a drink of water. Any drink. Just eat
that used to be a thing with Weetabix.
Did it?
Eat a Weetabix. Is that, what's the singular for Weetabix? Is it a Weetabix? Is it like sheep and sheep? Are they the same both ways? A Weetabix, like a single. They're biscuits, aren't they? That's what they call. They're called biscuits.
Wow, let's not start that. I think we're
no. I'm just saying that's what I think.
That's a video. That's a video on itself.
That's what I think they're called by. But that used to be a thing. People would say there was like a. I think it might have been a marketing thing from them, but challenge people to eat a Weetabix without milk.
Well, my challenge: eat a box. That's heroic stuff. Eat a box of all brand without having a drink. Honestly, you'd just be so dry. Wouldn't even be. Honestly, I reckon your tongue and the roof of be stuck to the roof of your mouth, and also like cement. Without any liquid. Anyway.
Yeah, famous liquidly cement, you know. Goes around in the thing. It's like final thoughts on score prediction.
What are we talking about? Oh yeah.
Will we see a concrete defensive performance?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll be mortified if
there we go.
Yeah, I don't know what the aggregate score will be. No, okay. Well, I reckon it'd be a gritty, gravelly 1-0 win for West Ham, Charlie.
There you go. We're back tomorrow for the build-up and watch along if you want more of whatever the hell that is. We're here. We've got it. Make sure to come back. We'll be live an hour and 5 minutes before kickoff, and then we'll be live throughout the entire game. I will be. Gio will come back at halftime, help me out, and then so on and so forth, and that'll be a live match review. So make sure if you haven't already to subscribe, hit that bell notification button so you don't miss out on any future videos, and like it because it helps us massively. Thank you all for watching. Come on, you irons, and we'll see you next time. See you later, everyone. Bye.